UFC 310 has wrapped up, and Shavkat won the co-main. Pantoja won the main event. Let's go over some things, some narratives, some breakdowns, and what's next for these guys. So on picks, I did good. I went 11-3, but Volkov won that, bro. Volkov got robbed. Terrible decision. I'm glad Dana White also agreed. Very sad. I kind of want to see Volkov get a title shot next year. I think he did way more damage than Gon did. I wish he got a submission. That would have been nice. There wouldn't be any decision to go to, but those judges need to be checked for that. I mean, it was close, but I think Volkov did. I thought optics wise, he did better. So, but prelims on this card were really good. It was looking like, wow, this is gonna be a great card to end the year. Even fights like Aljo versus Mavzar, which people thought were gonna be snooze fests. It was a great fight. I thought it could have been a draw, but you know, Mavzar just looked a little stronger. I think Aljo won the first round, but he just didn't do enough the rest of the fight to win. Yeah. Let's go through the main card real quick. Nate Landwehr, terrible fight on his part. I've never seen him fight so terrible. He barely threw a punch the first 2 rounds, and then even in the 3rd round, he was already too tired, and he was swinging like a dummy, and he got crucifixed for the rest of the fight, and it sucked. So that was a bad way to start the main card. Next fight, Kron Gracie, most boring fighter, but he did look a lot better than his last fight, to be fair, but bro kept pulling guard, and luckily I bet on Mitchell to get a KO plus 500, so that was nice. And yeah, that was dumb. That shouldn't have been on the main card. I think that ruined some of those fights. Being on the main card kind of ruined the flow of the card, because there's so many good fights. It was going really good, and then once that main card started with Nate, he just was not impressive. And then Bryce Mitchell versus Gracie was that knockout was good. So I mean, that's kind of a toss-up. People like Bryce Mitchell. I like Bryce Mitchell, but that could have been on the prelims, honestly. There were a lot of fights on the prelims that were better than that. Like Luque. Luque. That was awesome. For freaking like 15-second submission or something. Yeah, or minute. I don't remember. It was like a minute long. The Evloev versus Sterling fight was great. That should have been on the main card, or at least the opener. Reyes versus Anthony Smith. I mean, that could be a prelim still, but even that, like, over Landwehr and even over Bryce Mitchell, you know, those fights for sure could have been over those 2 fights. But then moving on, Volkov got robbed. He did great, got robbed. I already kind of talked about that, but let's go into Shavkat. Shavkat versus Ian Gary. This was boring. And if you think this fight was entertaining, you're lying to yourself. Very hard. And if you're gonna say, well, you didn't enjoy this fight because you don't appreciate high-level grappling, well, what would you say about the Mario Bautista performance versus Jose Aldo? Is that just high-level grappling too? Or is it just because of the name? Listen, Shavkat's great, Ian Gary's great, but honestly, I feel like Ian Gary respected him too much. And Shavkat, he's got great power. He definitely landed, he had way more damaging shots on Ian. I mean, look at their faces. He threw the heavier punches. He threw some big overhands that hurt him. And Shavkat just could never close the distance. He was a little too slow, but I think if he could have just stopped, hippity hopping, waiting for a opening, I think he could have just walked him down. I feel like he could have just Stricklanded him, and it would have been a little bit easier and a little bit more of a fun fight, even though some of you might be saying that's funny, because a lot of people would say Strickland's boring, but I'd say that style would work and be very efficient, because that fight was more boring than any Strickland fight. Let's be real. I mean, I get it. Strickland can be very boring, but he has an effective style, and I think Shavkat could have easily walked him down, and especially if he had good defense. And yeah, it was boring until the fourth round. I don't think there was a takedown till the third or fourth round, and I don't know, it was just a clinch fest for the first 3 rounds, and there was a few shots here and there, but I remember the first round, like, okay, they got their jitters out. They're gonna come in, someone's gonna go for it next round. Same thing, maybe one big shot. Third round, okay, now they're really warmed up. This is a 5-round fight, come on. Nothing. Because I'm thinking, like, down the line, oh yeah, remember when Shavkat, Ian Gary fought? Turn it on. Trust me, this fight gets good. This just wasn't a classic fight. It was very disappointing. I think Bilal's fight with Leon was way more entertaining than this. And I'm not a big Bilal guy, but Bilal puts the pressure on. I think Bilal would... I think Bilal could hurt Ian Gary. I mean, I think Ian Gary would be do a lot better than Leon did against Bilal, because of the grappling and everything. And I think Ian's more of a dog than Leon, to be honest with you. I think Ian is good, but I think he respected Shavkat too much. My thoughts are a little all over the place right now, but I think Ian respected Shavkat way too much, and I'm gonna title this video like, is Shavkat overrated or something, but I don't think Shavkat's overrated. I think he had a long layoff, and that affected his performance. He was probably a little hesitant, and those throws, those judo throws he was trying to execute just aren't going to work on a guy like Ian Gary. He's got great grappling. He works at shootbox. Obviously, Shavkat landed some takedowns towards the end of that fight, and Ian Gary almost submitted him, but I think we all knew that wasn't going to happen. This wasn't going to happen, but that was pretty crazy. And shout out Zevia, sponsor me one day. I will get a sponsorship from Zevia one day. But yeah, I think Ian Gary is good. I think Shavkat's good, but I think they respected each other a little too much. And I don't know, sometimes the certain formulas just don't work for a fight, sometimes big names just don't pull off what you think is gonna happen. And that was the first time Shavkat hasn't got a finish in a fight. So, and I don't know. Yeah, Shavkat got the W. I think him and Bilal will be a tough fight. I think Shavkat will do better against Bilal. I think he'll get him with some big shots. He's not going to back up against Bilal. I think it'll be more of a dog fight. I think it'll be actually a pretty entertaining fight. I think that'll be a good fight. Despite what you think of Bilal, I think they might have a dog fight. I think it'll be a lot better than this fight, and because Bilal likes to march. Bilal is honestly like a Strickland if he grappled more. But honestly, versus Leon, he looked more vicious than Strickland. Strickland just doesn't let go sometimes. But yeah, I think Bilal versus Shavkat will be a good fight. I think Shavkat will win just based off his big head and his durability. I think he'll get a knockout, probably like round 4, maybe early actually. But I feel like it'll probably be like a round 4 knockout or something. And Bilal could win too. Bilal's great, honestly. Like, not a huge Bilal fan, but I think he's very skilled. But yeah, that's what I think of that. Pantoja won 3 seconds. He's really good. He's really good, and that's all I really gotta say. Pantoja's really good. He wants Mighty Mouse to come back. Honestly, for the flyweight division, just use Pantoja as an experiment to just try out stupid stuff you can't try out with other divisions, because you're not going to bring over the rising champion to the lightweight division. You know, you're not going to bring back Khabib or the lightweight GOAT to the lightweight division as it is right now. That's just not going to happen. But you can do that with flyweight because there's not a lot of movement. Everyone's already kind of had their chance. There's not a lot going on. So, and if Kai won, that would have been huge for the organization, but it didn't happen. I honestly really wanted it to happen, but honestly, Pantoja's great. So, whatever. But, yeah, it was a rough main card. Yeah, Shavkat, like I said, I don't think he's overrated, but that long layoff, I think, did play a factor. I think if he was a little more active, he would have been a lot more ready to push forward and get into some heated exchanges, get some elbows, knees, clinch, and just beat him down. And but that didn't happen. But yeah, Shavkat, Bilal, I think Shavkat's gonna win, and then hopefully Shavkat and Islam fight, and that would be a great fight. So yeah, not much else to talk about for this card, but as far as next year and next week, we got Covington versus Buckley next week. I'd say most people probably think Buckley's gonna win. I agree. Not much to talk about, but I'm excited for that fight. And then we got Islam versus Arman, Marab versus Umar, Hill versus Yuri. Yuri, he's got to keep his hands up. I saw some training footage. I'm sure a lot of you saw. He's keeping his hands up a little more, but we'll see how that goes. Because whoever loses, no, I think I'm excited for that fight. But if Yuri gets KO'd, bro, that's gonna be sad, and it'll be sad, very sad, and he might be done if he gets KO'd. But I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, and then we got the Strickland versus Duplessis announcement. Honestly, dude, I wish they fought on this card because it's just been too long. I feel like that rematch has taken way too long to happen. I think that rematch should have happened when Izzy fought Strickland, but obviously, you know, that was a good fight. Izzy versus Strickland is a good fight. It made sense business-wise, and good legacy fight for Dricus, but I think Sean and Dricus should have gotten this fight done with already, so it's kind of like people were kind of moved on from it because people were super hyped for it back last year because Strickland arguably won, and no one really, I mean, people are going to be hyped once it comes around, especially if they start talking trash and it gets exciting, which I think they will do. I think they both do a great job. Dricus does very good. Dricus is probably the best trash talker in the UFC now, surprisingly, and Strickland hasn't been as funny lately, but I think he'll kick it back into gear, but I wish he was more active. I think he deserved the title shot But I wish he fought one more time just so people would shut up. So, but I think he needs to work with Alex Pereira for this camp, because he needs to be more versatile in the striking. He's too his defense is good, but he needs to throw in 1-2 kick, 1-2 knee, elbow. He needs more. He just needs more. He doesn't do enough, and that's why he loses so many of these decisions, versus Cannonier, versus Dricus. It hurts him. So he needs to be a little more aggressive. So, but I think he can win, but I feel like Dricus will probably just plot armor his way to a win. And yeah. But yeah, and then also, I kind of want to make a video on why Adesanya should move up to 205, because I don't think he's got much left at 185 as far as legacy and winning a championship again. I just don't see it happening. I think he should move up to 205. But yeah, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed the freaking video, and love you guys. God bless. Peace.